Hello. Today we're just going to be practicing some basic subtraction skills. So we know that subtraction is another name, or like another name for subtraction. Is like taking away or minusing. And there are certain words in word problems that we look for to know that we're going to do subtraction. Like if they say, like that they had some and they lost some. That means we're taking away. Or they gave it away. Things like that are good clues that we're going to be doing subtraction. Now, something important to remember in subtraction is order really matters. In addition, the order doesn't matter, like this. 5 plus 3 equals 8. And I can flip it around because the order doesn't matter, 3 plus 5, and it equals 8. In subtraction, you cannot do that. You have to keep it in the same order. So, if I do this, 5 minus 3, so let's say I have 5 apples. Minus 3 means I'm going to take 3 away, and I know that that equals 2. Now, if I flip the order around, 3 minus 5, I have 3 apples, and I'm trying to take away 5. I can't do that. So the order in subtraction really matters. When you stack it to subtract, the first number always goes on top. So if we were doing this problem, 5 is the first number, it always goes on top. So that equals 2. So let's do one together. I'm going to give you a problem and pause the video after I write it down. You solve it and then play the video and you can see how I did it and we'll see if we got the same answer. So let's do 675 minus 432. So go ahead, pause your video, and then solve it on your own. And when you're ready to check to see if we got the same answer, click play. Okay, you should have solved the problem on your own, and now you're ready to see if we got the same problem. So, first number always, always, always goes on top when we stack it. Now we line them up by place value. This is the ones place, that's the ones place. So we're going to line it up like this. And now we can subtract. When you subtract, you always start on the ones place and then you work your way to the left. You've got to start with the ones place because that's the smallest digit. So we do 5, take away 2. So if you need to, you can use your fingers. I have 5, take 2 away, and I'm left with 3. 7, take away 3, and I'm left with 4. 6, take 4 away from that, and I'm left with 2. Now, when you do subtraction, you can use your fingers, you can count up, or you can count back, like I could start at 6 and count back. Or you can like draw a picture off to the side if you need it. Really, whatever works for you, use what works for you. So on this one, if I was going to count back, I would start at 6, but don't count the 6 as 1 that you're taking away, and then go 5, 4, 3, 2. And I've taken 4 away, so it's 2. All right, I'm going to give you another one. This may seem like a really basic review, but you'd be surprised how often people mess up subtraction. And if you mess up subtraction, then you're going to mess up your division problem. So here's another one. This time I'm going to throw a 0 in it and see if we know what to do. Okay, so if you know what to do, pause your video, you solve it, and then click play when you're ready to see how you did. All right, so if you clicked play, that means you've already solved it. So first number always goes on the top. Line it up by place value, the ones place underneath the ones place. And now I can subtract. And I start in my ones place. 4 take away 1 is 3. Now I've got 0 and I'm taking away 5. So if I have 0 apples, can I take 5 apples away from that? No, of course not. So I have to borrow from the next number over. That means I'm going to borrow from this 7. I'm going to take 1 from the 7. If I take 1 from 7, it now becomes 6. And that 1 that I just took, sorry, I'm blocking with my hand. That 1 that I just took from the 7 is going to make this, instead of a 0, it's going to make it a 10. So now I'm not dealing with 0 anymore. Now it's 10. So now I can do 10 minus 5. And if I count back, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So 10 minus 5 is 5. And now I can do this part. 6 minus 3, which is 3. So my answer should be 353. Okay, let's do another one with a 0 in it. Borrowing with a 0 is a little bit trickier than just doing normal subtraction. So do this problem. 8,034. Sorry, let me move the whiteboard a little bit. Subtract 7,500. No, let's not do a 5. We just did a 5. 7,422. Okay, go ahead and pause the video if you want to. Solve it on your own, and then we'll go over it together. Alright, so this is the first number. Always goes on top. 8,034. This little mark right here is a comma. It's not a number, it's just a comma. You probably already know that. 7,422. Now we always start in the ones place. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. 0 minus 4. If I have nothing, I can't take 4 away. So again, I have to borrow from the 8. And the 8 is going to become a 7. I'm just going to take 1 from the 8. I'm going to take that 1 and put it on the 0. And now this 0 really becomes 10. Then 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 7 is 0. So our answer is 612. Now let's look at a problem where we have to borrow, but for something other than a 0. We're going to borrow for a 0 and another number. All right. 7,035 subtract. Let's do 4,944. If you want to do it on your own, pause and do it on your own. But here we go. 7,035 subtract 4,944. I have 5 subtract 4. I can do that. It's a 1. 3 minus 4. If I have 3, can I take 4 away? No. So that means I need to borrow. But I can't borrow from the 0 because there's nothing there. So I have to go all the way to the 7 and borrow from the 7. So now I'm just going to take 1. Just take 1 from the 7. It becomes a 6. That 1 from the 7 I borrowed makes this a 10. And some of you just put a 1 there. Some of you cross this out and make it a 10. Either one is fine. It doesn't really matter. But I still haven't solved the problem of the 3. I still can't do 3 minus 4, so I still have to borrow. This 10, I'm going to take 1 from the 10, and it's going to become 9. And now the 3 is going to become a 13. And I just put the 1 in front of it, but if you write it 13 like that, that's fine. Now, if I have 13, can I take 4 away? Well, yeah. Count back from 13. 12, 11, 10, 9. So it is 9. 9 minus 9, I can do that. 0. 6 minus 4, I can do that. So our answer is 2,091. Okay, now let's look at another one. If we're borrowing across a 0 again, that's what that's called, when you have a 0 in the middle and you have to borrow across it. So let's say 607 subtract 499. If you know what to do, solve it. Pause and solve. 607 minus 499. So first I look, 7 minus 9, well, I can't do that. And I borrow from the next neighbor over, but 0 doesn't have anything to give, so I've got to go all the way to this 6. I'm going to take 1 from the 6, it becomes 5. That 1 I borrowed from the 6 makes this a 10. But I still can't do 7 minus 9. So I've got to borrow from that 10, it becomes 9, and that 7 becomes 17. And then if I do 17, can I take 9 away from 17? Yeah, absolutely. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So 17 minus 9 is 8. 9 minus 9, 0. 5 minus 4, 1. Okay, now let's talk about if there's a 0 at the end of the problem. Like, let's say we were doing 500 subtract 475. If you know what to do, go ahead and do it, just like you've been doing. So first number always, always, always goes on top. Okay, now we've got a problem here. 0. Can I take 5 cookies away from 0 cookies? No. So I have to borrow, but I can't borrow from that 0, so I've got to go to the 5, and the 5 becomes a 4, and that 1 that I just borrowed makes this a 10. But I still can't do 0 minus 5, so I have to borrow from this 10, it becomes 9, and this 0 becomes 10 now. 10 minus 5 I can do, and that would be 5. 9 minus 7 is 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. So my answer is 25. Let's look at that exact same problem one more time, just to make sure you understand what's going on. I have 500, 475. 0 minus 5, I can't do it. Can't borrow from the 0, so I've got to borrow from the 5. It becomes a 4. The 1 that I just took from it makes this a 10. But I still can't do 0 minus 5, so I have to now borrow from the 10 because I can, and it will become a 9. And now this 0 becomes a 10. Now I can do 10 minus 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 7, 2. 4 minus 4, 0. If you need to, watch this video again. Or if you run into certain types of problems that this maybe doesn't help with, let me know and I can help you. Or I can make another video addressing that kind of a problem. Now, let's just look at one more problem before we stop. 732 subtract 489. This one doesn't have any zeros in it, but I can already tell when I set it up, first number goes on top. I can already tell I'm going to have to borrow. So let's look at this. 2 minus 9. I can't do it. If I have 2 cookies, I can't give away 9. So I've got to go to the 3, borrow from my neighbor, and the 3, I'm just going to take 1 from it. So the 3 becomes a 2, and this 2 becomes a 12. Now can I do 12 minus 9? If I count back, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. 2 minus 8, I can't do that. So I have to borrow from the 7. It becomes a 6, and that 1 that I just took then gets added onto that 2. So now that's 12. Now 12 minus 8, if I count it back, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So 12 minus 8 is 4. And then 6 minus 4. So if I count back, 5, 4, 3, 2. So the answer is 243. Okay, I hope this subtraction video helped. If you have questions, ask me. If any of the video didn't make sense, please let me know and I'll try to fix it so that it makes sense for other people. Or if you have other types of subtraction problems that you don't know how to do, let me know and I will add that to the video or make a new video. But I hope this helps.